So today in studio we have the lads from Tyre Fire who drove all the way from Pretoria to join us. Thanks, dudes.
Cool, man. Awesome, man.
They're a young band and a brilliant one at that. This is our first Pretoria band we've ever had. So let's start the interrogation.
The Pretoria scene is pretty quiet, I'd say. There are a few really great bands jamming at this stage. I think, Raptor Baby and so forth, but Pretoria is not the biggest prog scene, out there, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel that it's people normally focus more on electronic music as opposed to actual instrumental or music that's played live and stuff like that.
No, we've had really good reception in Joburg. I think some of the biggest gigs we've played is in Joburg, and I mean we love playing with the scene. It's always good to meet new people and prog folk and so forth. Specifically because we have an odd crowd that comes to listen to our music because we're not your particularly general prog sounding band. Well, once we went to Bloemfontein for a congress of sorts, and it was bloody cold, and we were staying in tents and on a rugby field. And then we gathered a bunch of tires they were using to drag over the field, and we made a massive bonfire. And it was just such a, explosive moment, and we thought, that's a good idea for a band name.
I guess we just like the idea of different sounds, because I guess as a band we normally tend to. I think the main reason we started playing together is because we gelled very nicely. We just messed around a lot, so those instruments just added to that awesome vibe. I don't know. Well, normally it's him and the vocalist that normally starts out with snippets of songs, and we just normally, in between sometimes, we'll just add something extra. And, I, for instance, normally irritate these guys sometimes because I can't stop playing. I just mess around, even while they're tuning their guitars and stuff. So I guess the song process is normally floats around that, where we've got basic sets of riffs and then we just mess around and see what happens.
Yeah. I think me and Ronald have a very different style of writing, because most of the music starts out with, when Ronald writes, he comes with a sort of a well-packaged, composed, idea of what a song should be, where, I'd rather bring a skeleton to the band and then we add from there, so it's additive and subtractive. It's been really fun, I think. We've had a blast. We started out just playing a gig for someone's art show, I think. That's how we actually assembled the band initially. And then from there we just got really good reviews and things, and we just kept going. But this year's been a bit quiet, though. I don't know why.
Well, definitely, I would say
Koreans.
Yeah, Koreans and people that actually know music. We always, most of us always end up talking to just random dudes, asking us about what we did and few songs here and there and stuff like that, so
yeah,
but
we also interested in music.
Yeah, so but we also draw other people as well,
and obviously a lot of groupies and things.
Yeah.
Prog. I think we're, in the true sense, prog rock. We make rock and roll. we try to be incredibly progressive with, you know, instrument changes and time signature changes. We don't have a specific sound. I don't think we stick to a specific sound, but you can always call it Tyre Fire, I think, which is, that's just, you know, we just do what we do, I think.
No.
Depends what kind of underground scene. No, for bands in particular, I don't know how Jean-Louis feels about this, but I think it's very quiet indeed.
Well, I just think that people, that side, they're not really used to the kind of music we make. You know, people tend to focus more on music that's sort of like basic and that plays in the background. People don't really go out to crazy shows and enjoy the music for what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Pretoria is a great place as it is. I think it's pretty two-dimensional when it comes to music and people trying new things. So it's, I mean, the music's well received when played, but it sometimes, you know, it just falls a bit flat. It's tough. I think the change is, you know, everyone's talking about changing the music scene and working really hard at changing the music scene. I think the only thing to do is to keep playing and to, you know, do what we're doing, collaborate like we're doing now, and talk about the bands that are great and share music and keep the music free and accessible. And I think that's the biggest part of it, you know.
Another issue we have in Pretoria is there's only like 3 places you can actually play at, and that creates kind of a problem, because with only that, like, there's a lot less people that would actually get exposed to the music we play, because there's no place where we can actually play it. So the main places we normally play at is Shiva's, like, I think it's a rock lounge. Yeah. And places like Arcade Empire. We played there at the new arcade and the old arcade, and those venues are really nice. But like I said, those are only one of the well, actually the 2 only places with, like, really
and then
good
Park
venues,
Acoustics sometimes as well, you know, they've given us a spot once or twice, which was great. But I think the scene is pretty condensed as of, you know, people knowing each other and not really wanting to expand on the horizons. I think that's one of the major problems. It's quite easy to get bands that could pull bigger crowds instead of trying to find new people or new talents and exposing them. It's just one of the things that happen, I think. Yeah, we started about 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
On Jean-Louis' birthday was our first gig. And we started in a commune. Half the band lived in a commune together, and we had to... Jean-Louis used to play for a Christian death metal band.
Oh, yeah.
And we thought we were going to do blues rock. That was the initial idea. We had this elaborate, the Pretoria Tyre Fire blues band name, something like that. So we used to make really crappy rock and really crappy Christian metal. And then from there we sort of collaborated, and that's actually, I mean, Ronald brought a lot of different influence and new sort of styles and ideas towards the picture. And then we started challenging, you know, the norms of what the kind of things we're doing. I mean, you can still hear metal influence in the drums and sort of bluesy influence on the guitar, but I think it grew into something completely different. Everyone's very passive-aggressive, I think. Some more aggressive than others.
Yeah.
No, the dynamic is actually that Ronald sort of conducts everything, and then I tell Ronald he's wrong the whole time, and then Jean-Louis gets really frustrated, and Christy, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very tense situation to write music and create, but always fun. I mean, you know, we're always partying and having a good time as friends. You know, we can't be in a band if we can't hang out together all the time either.
Well, I started playing drums in Standard 9, and I went to quite a few guitar teachers. I mean drum teachers, sorry. And you know, like, well, what basically happens was whenever I started playing, like, as soon as I got, you know, comfortable with the guy like teaching me, he either moved away or his like plans changed. So I jumped from one teacher to another, and I ended up just sort of like giving up and just started teaching myself, because I mean I had the basics, and then from there on I just, you know, practiced a lot. But I guess the kind of music I listened to also like played a huge role. So yeah.
Me and Christy, the bassist, we started jamming together back in high school as well. And from there, I mean, he didn't have a bass teacher and I didn't know how to play guitar or bass. So we sort of taught each other how to play this mangled, you know, bass guitar vibes. And then from there, I'm pretty self-taught mostly, I think. I had some classes and things. Ronald has a lot of classical training, and he plays in orchestras and things. So
Yeah,
you know, we have a broad range of not knowing anything about music to knowing a hell of a lot about music within our band, which, you know, creates an interesting contrast.
Well, we would say mostly, well, I guess like progressive kind of music, but also we really dig the stone rock genre.
Yeah,
Bands like Caius, Queens of the Stone Age. You know.
That's actually where our main sort of, we started doing covers mostly, I think. Our first gig was a lot of Caius and Queens of the Stone Age covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, probably more 90s rock than anything else. Yes. We just recorded with you, Matt. We have 3 tracks coming out, which we're very excited about. Sounding great, I think. You know, it's the best recordings we've had. We've also been a bit off the scene writing new music. So we have 2 or 3 new tracks coming out, which we're going to play live now. Everyone in the band's finishing their studies as well, so we can really start, you know, collaborating again and start jamming the scene.
Well, I think the most important thing is if people don't enjoy it, don't do it. Because if you don't do it for the right reasons, you'll never end up anywhere, you know. I see so many people that they just want to start a band because I've got a band, you know. Like people they really need to focus on enjoying it, you know.
Yeah, fight for what you want, I think, you know, really try and push the boundaries. Don't settle for playing cover gigs or gigs at, you know, shitty pubs because everyone does it or because maybe you'll get some exposure, you know. I think stay true to the music. I think, you know, as a Tyre Fire, you know, we'd like to give a massive shout out to all the people from different bands who's been supporting us. I mean, you from New Earth and you just helping us record and things, and also, you know, Austin from Savage Lucy, who's went and played a massively cool sort of guest solo on one of our new tracks coming out, I think, you know. Yeah. Just, you know, keeping the support in there and keeping, you know, the music live.
Thanks so much to Albert and Jean-Louis for making the trip and taking the time to join us in studio. It was a pleasure to have them on. And a big heartfelt shout out to everyone who tuned in to listen. You guys are why we do this thing. Shot for the support.